Okay, turn 28 for me. My last turn, he's still got one after this to basically just mop up everything. Surprisingly, we're doing not too bad. For all the troops that are around us, I say that, it looks terrible from this view. But we've held a lot of ground that I would have thought we'd have given up. He pushed people back down here, he brought up all his guns and unlimbered them, so I'm going to get to absolute hell on this turn and the next turn. He brought some guns forward here. He started to sweep his cavalry round a little bit, especially on that sort of northeast corner, and he's just going to descend on me next turn. So this is my last chance to... There's no point in manoeuvring or anything like that. It's purely going to be a combat turn to just try and take as many of them as I can with me. Disorder, so I can't really fire on anyone, melee anyone. Everyone is absolutely knackered. We'll have a look at the numbers after. Actually, we'll have a look at the number at the end of the turn, his turn, when I come back to do a sort of a wash-up. There we go, a 400 and a 500. Oh, wow. They're not facing the target, so we can face them. What have we got here? They are now disordered this turn. Probably get a cannon or two in the face for our effort. No? Okay. Certainly learned from last time, that's for sure. Combined arms. He's a lot more slow and organised. Fair play to him. 503 and a 4. Go for them. Just to try and make sure they are disordered next turn, as well as this turn. I'll go at them. Them. Oh, that was good. Okay then, back to this turn. Doorbell answered. Where did we get to? Somewhere over here now. Who has moved and who's fired? So we've pretty much fired all over there, which leaves over here. So we've got two lots of skirmishing. They can both fire. They are absolutely knackered, but we'll bring them forward. It's our last turn after all. Put these guys in line, bring them up, and fire on them. Now, just because it is my last turn and it's the last hurrah, we're going to bring, not Devu, no, these line troops up to meet these guys. They're both in line. Get some opportunity fire and then charge them. See if we can't send anybody back. Well, we can. Not a bad attack. What do we got here? So, square and this cavalry. There. Bring these guys down here. Square there. Artillery that can fire on this cavalry. I'm going to get hit by bad, I reckon, by this cavalry on these next turn. Oh god, this is last turn. Actually, I don't see that holding. I didn't think we'd actually last this on. We've got any left? No, you can't get back. Right, we've got a square here and some guns. That cavalry's been able to stay there as well. There, and we've got some guns. Not bad. Fire on them. Now, who else have we got? Just try and get them out of harm's way, I suppose. They're done. Get out of there. You come up there. They have still routed. Right, we'll leave it at that. That is my last turn. That's all I can do. They've routed, but Davout is there with them. Hopefully they'll sort themselves out. And that's my turn done. I'll come back and I'll do a final video as a bit of a wash-up debrief once he's done his last turn, see the mess he can make. So that is another one done, and that's the aftermath. Pretty much held out, I suppose. Let's have a look there from a large-scale view. I'm glad it ended when it did, because I don't think I would have lasted another turn. Maybe one, but certainly not 2 turns. It was just overwhelming at the end. Look at all the cavalry he had here. All brand new, fresh, heavy. Hussars, A quality as well. So they had some good cavalry coming. And then he had these fresh guys that he brought round as well. They'd start creeping round from the northeast as well. So I was pretty much surrounded. What would have happened in real life if this had happened and they just managed to say, okay, that's it, we shake hands? I don't think so. But we got to the end of this one, and he pushed forward wherever he could, basically attacked with whoever he could, and Hassenhausen would have fallen for sure. He brought all his guns up here. He was blasting away, routed troops there. So yeah, we managed to hold. A little bit different to, well, I suppose it's the same historical outcome. If we have a look up here at my at the victory, so he lost almost 8,500 infantry. His cavalry was absolutely decimated through them squares. He only lost 5 guns. Okay, that's not a big issue. Some supplies and some leaders. My infantry got hammered when he was coming down into Hassenhausen here. And my cavalry, I didn't really do anything with them, but right from the start, up here, all my chasseurs chevals, I wanted them to act as a stopgap, as bait, basically. Go for them rather than my infantry. And he didn't send everything against them, but it siphoned off quite a lot of his cavalry that could have gone actually through the squares in the centre. My plan was initially to defend Hassenhausen and have a line out here to the south, but then needs must, with that cavalry coming up to my north flank, I had to get something done. So there was an awful lot of squares around here, and he was bringing his cavalry through. The sheer weight of numbers got through, and he did break through. Look, okay, with 12 men. But I don't think I would have held out. Look at the gap I had to open up to bring troops down to defend against the infantry. He brings them through that gap there, and before you know it, he's attacking from behind. So it ended in a nice, timely manner. Very hard one to win as the French. What could I have done differently? Well, I could have defended this sort of entry square around Frankenau. It would have bought me some time. I mean, from him to come, it looks like he was coming all the way from down here. Where is he? Down here, so from Auerstedt itself, up this road, maybe along from Lichtdorf. It would have taken him a good sort of 3, 4, 5 turns to get there, and that would have given me a chance to get troops into position around here. But it would have made a boring video, and I wanted to keep it reasonably historic, because the first engagement was around Hassenhausen. I dare say, if there's a variant where Bernadotte was meant to arrive at Jena, and he was meant to arrive at Auerstedt, and he didn't arrive at any of them. If he arrives, if there's a variant where another corps arrives, then you're going to have a much better chance. Put another corps up to the north towards sort of Punchau, somewhere around there, and he would have a much better chance. Everything comes in willy-nilly. Not willy-nilly, but sporadic. You know, it's a few turns, somebody will arrive, a few turns, another division will arrive, and you've got to make sure that road's open. That was a concern of mine as I was playing, that if he closes this gap off, all of a sudden these guys around Hassenhausen are isolated, and then I've got another separate battle to try and fight my way through. He played a lot better than he did in Eylau. With sheer weight of numbers, he was more organised in his attack. He didn't just attack for the sake of attacking as he did in the other game, which is good. It means he's learning. Combined arms, he brought all his artillery forward. Okay, he split his cavalry up, but just the sheer volume of cavalry that I had to deal with was sort of protection in itself, to a certain extent. I wish I had a couple more guns. That would have been a little bit easier. Quality of the Prussian troops is probably better than I gave them credit for at the start. Okay, this is, as I said, it's not the Prussian army of the later war, which was probably a little bit better organised. But speaking to, having a conversation with a guy, you know, how do you actually win this as a French in this JTS game? And I understand that tabletop stuff has special rules for this battle in particular, and sort of the 1806 campaign, where the Prussians didn't actually fight that much in column. They might have moved around in column, and he basically blitzed me with his numbers there. And if they were in line, I suppose possibly same result, but it would have just taken a little bit longer to do it for him, a little bit more time to organise it from line into column, and disordered units, you know, you're going to have to bring them back. And he did. He kept to the no disorder melee rule, which was good. That probably saved me an awful lot as well if he just ploughed in with everything at any time. He didn't double stack. He learnt that lesson from last time as well, so he didn't really, okay, a few places, but in general when he was attacking he didn't double stack. French were good. Got a few surprises with melee results and fire results, which is good, but it does go against you. But the dice, on the whole, sort of went in my favour when I needed them to. Not always, but when I needed them to, they managed to pull through. Managed to save the Vu as well. He got cut off in the woods at one point, and then the unit he was with actually routed and came back into the middle. And he left it to, I think it was a colonel or something. He said, right, I'm going to crack on back into the centre of it. So he survived. Quite pleased with how it went. Tough battle. You always just want some more troops. But I always find with JTS games, you know, even in the large scale ones, your opponent always seems to have more troops than you do. They might think the same, I don't know, but you never seem to have enough for what I don't, for what I want to do. And I always sort of spread myself too thinly. I suppose I did here to a certain extent, but it's not too bad. Could have gone a lot worse, that's for sure. Could have gone a lot worse. Like I say, another 2 or 3 turns, and chances are it would have turned into something resembling a rout. So well done to him. He was happy. He said he learnt. He wants to do another one, but work is calling. So it might be in a few weeks that I upload another one. I don't know what one. Just heard that there are 6 more titles that are going to have an update, some with maps, some without, and this is literally got this email or saw this notification. Ekmel is going to be updated with new 3D maps, as is Napoleon's Russian campaign. Looking forward to seeing those 3D maps. Campaign Wagram, Jena, just played one literally, 1814 and Bautzen. So they're all going to get updated, and Ekmel and Napoleon's Russian campaign are also going to get some new maps. I'm going to sign off there. Hope you've enjoyed this one. It was nice, short and sharp compared to Alal. Hopefully you might have learned something. Please do leave some comments in the comment section. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I do read your comments. I do try and get back to you with them, with whatever your question might be. And there we go. So happy gaming, guys, and I'll leave it at that.